Hello everyone, my name is Nitin. I am explaining about my OS assignment priority scheduling with aging and without aging. Introduction. An operating system has to constantly decide which processes should use the CPU next. Priority scheduling helps by letting higher priority takes run first. In primitive version, if a more important task arrives, it immediately takes over. But this creates a problem. Low priority tasks may never get a chance to run, leading to starvation. To prevent this, we use aging. It slowly boosts the priority processes that have been waiting for too long. This makes the scheduling fair and ensures every process eventually gets CPU time. In this process, we implement primitive priority scheduling with both with and without aging and compare how they affect waiting time, turnaround time, response time, and context switches. Next, experimental setup. To test how primitive priority scheduling works, we use simple simulations written in C. These programs take a process detail like arrival time, burst time, and priority, then run the schedules step by step. We used three different data sets of processors, some with mixed arrival times, some designed to cause starvation, so we could see how the algorithm behaves in the situations. Aging was applied using a simple rule. If a process waits for a 3 minute, 3 time units, its priority improves by 1. This helps us clearly observe how aging prevents starvation. At the end of each simulation, we measured important values like waiting time, turnaround time, response time, and constant switches to compare scheduling and with and without aging. Next, implementation setups. Uh, first step, first steps. Create a process structure. Each process stores its arrival time, burst time, remaining time, priority, waiting counter, response time, and finish time. Stimulate step 2. Stimulate the CPU timeline. Time moves 1 unit at a time. At each step, we check which process have arrived and add them to the ready queue. Next step, update waiting and apply aging. Every process is in the ready queue has its waiting counter increased. If it waits too long, its priority improves. Next step, select the next process. Then scheduler chooses the process with the lowest priority number. If two have the same priority, the one that arrived earlier gets CPU. Next step, run for one time unit. The chosen process runs for 1 unit. This records the response time if this is its first run. Track context switches whenever the CPU changes to a different process. Next, check for completion. When a process finishes, remaining time is equals to 0. Record its finish time and remove it from the ready queue. After all the process finish, calculate waiting time, turnaround time, and response time for each process. Compute averages and build the Gantt chart timeline. Next, flow chart. The scheduling process follows a simple loop. Start and load all the process. These set their arrival time, burst time, and priority. Next, move through time step by step. At each time unit, check if any new process has arrived and it added to the ready queue. If no process is ready, the CPU stays idle for that time unit. If processes are ready, increase their waiting time, apply aging, improve priority if they are waited too long, pick the process with the best priority, run it for one time unit. Update process status. If a process finishes a record its finished time and remove it from the queue. This next repeat. Continue unit all processes have completed and then calculate the results. Compute waiting time, turnaround time, response time, averages, and create the Gantt chart. Next, this is our code for the aging and without aging priority scheduling. So moving on to the output, this example shows how priority scheduling works when aging is not used. The first example is about without aging. The CPU always picks the process with the highest priority, that is lowest number. Since priorities never change, a low priority process may wait for a long time. In the sample output, P2 has the highest priority, so it runs first. P1 runs next because it has the next best priority. P3 with the lowest priority ends up waiting the longest. The results show average waiting time 6.67, average turnaround time 14.33, context switches 2. The Gantt chart clearly shows how P3 suffers due to its low priority. Improving the starvation can occur without aging. The next output is about with aging. This example shows how scheduling changes when aging is enabled. With aging, every process that waits too long gets a priority boost. This prevents low priority processes from being ignored. Scheduling becomes fairer, though it may cause more context switches. In sample output, P2 has the highest priority, starts first. As time passes, processes like P1, P3, and P4 get priority improvements through aging. These boosted priorities allow them to run earlier than they normally would. The results: average waiting time 4.25, average turnaround time 9.25, context switches 3. This shows that aging reduces waiting time and removes starvation, even though the CPU switches between processors more often. Moving to the last part, observations. Aging prevents starvation. Low priority processes eventually get a better priority, so none are left waiting forever. Waiting and turnaround times become more balanced. With aging, processors share the CPU more fairly, reducing extreme delays. Context switches increase. Because priorities keep changing, the CPU switches between processes more often. Overall, scheduling becomes fairer and smoother. The aging helps the system avoid long waits and gives every processor a chance to run. This observation shows that adding aging improves fairness and prevents starvation, even though it may slightly increase the overhead. Thank you.